Welcome back to our 90th show. Can you believe that? Our 90th show of our series of podcasts From the Bridge. I am, as always, Rick Jones, the captain and creative director of FishBait Solutions, and your host for From the Bridge. Can you believe we have had 89 previous shows of From the Bridge? But like so many good things, sometimes they have to come to an end. Today is the final podcast of the series, and we're going to share some special moments from our previous shows, look back at the past 3 incredible years, and finally share my top 10 takeaways from the soapbox. We'll also tell you one more great place to eat out there on the road with Rick. As 2021 comes to an end, let's take one more trip across the water from the bridge. I've told y'all that when I write all the podcasts, historically, I listen to music. And I went back and looked, and it's been kind of an amazing soundtrack. I should do a CD of From the Bridge. And it was a mix of music, everything from Merle Haggard's to The Good Times, Really Over for Good, to Glenn Miller's In the Mood, to Lady Gaga and Tony Bennett, to pretty much everything in between. But during the holidays, I listened to a lot of Christmas music, both sacred hymns and popular standards. I recently listened to the late Dan Fogelberg's song, Old Lang Syne, and I heard these words that echoed the same thinking in my own mind. He said, "Our beers were empty and our tongues were tired and running out of things to say." Well, the truth is, after 3 great years, I've simply run out of things to say, and I don't want to wear out my welcome. But we'll rally one more time for today's show. When we started the series, I had really hoped to do 3 things. Number one, I wanted to provide some unique insights on the sports and entertainment sponsorship industry by being both current and at the same time bringing some wisdom from years of working in the industry. Like Farmers Insurance, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. Secondly, I wanted to provide a free resource for students, for young people, with a real-world approach to the industry. I like to teach, and this was an outreach of my desire to reach young people. And finally, thirdly, I wanted to bring in the best of industry experts to share their experience, their expertise, and advice, and I think we've been able to do that. We've had 78 different guest anglers, with only 5 that had so much to say that we brought them back for a second round. These were Rob Temple, Jack Birch, Bill Battle, Jim Host, and Steve Robinson. I cannot thank my guests enough for their candor, wisdom, and friendship. It's been a joy to host them on this show each week. We've talked about a lot of different things. In sports, we've talked about gambling, name, image, and likeness, fan engagement, licensing, and fundraising. We've talked about the music industry, the growth of outdoor sports during COVID-19, and we've spent a good bit of time talking about cause marketing. We've talked about historical battlefields and venues and the need to preserve them. We've talked about advertising, promotions, and public relations. And we've also talked about larger things like race relations, diversity, giving back, the role of government, and the role of our citizens. I hope we opened your mind and taught you some new things, reinforced some things you had been doing, and made you consider another point of view. I hope we've encouraged you to change when change was needed and to stay the course when change is not required. I hope we made you laugh and occasionally we made you cry. My good friend, the late Dr. Bill Bandy, often said about life, well, it's kind of like fun, only different. That was our goal for From the Bridge, and I think we accomplished that. So let's climb back up on the old soapbox one more time. Here are my 10 takeaways I want you to remember. Number 1, when I was a kid, Barbra Streisand recorded a great song from the Broadway play Funny Girl, where she played Fanny Brice, and that song was called People. Wonderful song written by Julie Stein. The truth is, We're all in the people business. People count. People matter. All people have worth and deserve dignity and grace. I hope you will live your life acknowledging, serving, and helping people. My mentor, John Maxwell, encourages us all to value people and then to add value to people. I hope I do that, and I hope you will do that too. Number 2, in the sports and entertainment business, fans pay for everything. Everything, no exceptions. We have to do a better job serving fans, or there won't be any fans. Take a look at everything you are doing for your fans and then make them all better. Number 3, bacon makes everything better. Just wanted to make sure you were listening, but it's so true. Mac and cheese, egg sandwiches, donuts, they're all better with bacon. I'm a breakfast guy. I love breakfast probably better than any other meal. But I don't like continental breakfast. I like real breakfast, Southern breakfast, biscuits and gravy, eggs over medium, meat, all sorts of great stuff. Now, let me ask you this. Do you know the difference between the bacon and the eggs? Well, the chicken was involved, but the pig was committed. I hope you're going to be committed to your business and to your life. Number 4, capitalism is the greatest liberator of people than any other form of government or business in our society. Let me repeat this. Capitalism is the single greatest liberator of people. Is capitalism perfect? Of course not, but it's a whole lot better than anything else. Capitalists risk capital. That's why they call it capitalism. They risk capital. So you deserve a return for risking that capital. Businesses are not bad. Capitalism is not bad. The abuse of both is bad, but capitalism is not bad. Number 5, with that said, capitalism is a sin without compassion, or as I like to say, without Christ. Capitalism works best when we all share our capital to help people, when we use it to lift people up. I'm a fiscal conservative and a social liberal, so I use my business as my personal political party. One party today seems to be very selfish. The truth is, the Republicans are not selfish because the facts show that more Republicans give money to charity than any other people. But it's their tone. It's this righteous tone about trying to be right all the time and other people are wrong. Now, that other party, the Democrats, I think they have great intentions. But I do like to remind people that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. I see that party as the party that throws you the life preserver but never pulls you to the boat. I got an easy answer for you all. Let's support both business and then have business support society. Number 6, we absolutely must teach entrepreneurism. When I was a kid, a 9-year-old, I found some mistletoe growing in a tree in my backyard. And I climbed up in the tree and I picked the mistletoe. And I had enough mistletoe to put it in 8 little bundles. I got some red yarn from my mama, tied up the little mistletoe strings, and went door to door in my neighborhood as a 9-year-old selling mistletoe. That started a 20-year mistletoe career. My senior year in college, I made over $5,000 selling mistletoe, and it's all free. You'd go in the woods, you'd climb up in the tree, you'd pick it, you'd bundle it, you'd sell it. I sold it at shopping malls. The colder it got, the worse the weather, the more my sales went up. People would feel bad. I remember, you would always pick on the couple. He'd have his arm around her, and he'd saunter by, and I'd say, "Would you like to buy some mistletoe?" And the guy would inevitably say, "I don't need it." Well, 10 minutes later, she'd come back and buy $1 worth of mistletoe because she had been so rude. I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always been the head coach. In fact, I coached for 9 years. 7 of those 9 years, I was the head coach, and I didn't much like those other 2 years. I like being in charge. I hope many of the young people out there listening will control their own destinies and become entrepreneurs. I do believe in the American dream, and that dream is available for all of us, including you out there. Number 7, sales makes up for all the sins in businesses. If you can sell, you're always going to have a job, and you're always going to make lots of money. Now, money cannot make you happy, but I'm telling you, it can put you in a lot of places to be happy, and it's a whole lot better than the alternative. Number 8, life is a team sport. Remember, even the Lone Ranger didn't travel alone. At FishBait, we like to recruit a personality profile. We're looking for people that have either played a team sport or been in the marching band or been in a play. We want to choose people that know how to play together, because that's what we do in the agency business. We play together. And so I encourage you to choose your partners carefully, and for sure, choose your spouse or your significant other very carefully. A wise man once said, don't marry someone you can live with, marry someone you can't live without. There's a big difference. Number 9, wisdom is the most valuable asset out there. Information is everywhere thanks to Google and Wikipedia, but wisdom is rare. So find it, nurture it, treasure it. Well, where do you find it? Well, you find it from wise people. I want to close with the last chapter from my book, Analog Advice in a Digital World. I think this kind of sums up the whole philosophy that I have from the bridge. This is from a song from an Atlanta beach music band called the Tams, the Mighty Tams from Atlanta, Georgia, a band of my youth. And they wrote a song called Be Young, Be Foolish, Be Happy. For Southern males of a certain generation, that would be my generation, beach music has always been a part of our lives. It's that old rhythm and blues soundtrack of our past that reminds us of good times and cold draft beers at some breezy dance hall on a nameless beach somewhere in North or South Carolina. One of the great beach bands of the 1950s and 1960s were the Mighty Tams from Atlanta, Georgia. They closed every concert with their standard ode to life, be young, be foolish, be happy. Well, that old place where you used to dance is closed down, and the band has stopped playing. But those words linger forever. Decades later, it's still a great way to think about life and to live life. So may your beers always be cold, may your date always be good looking, and may the song linger forever and ever. And may you always be young, foolish, and happy. Let's now grab one last meal on the road with Rick. I've told you my favorite chef in the world is Frank Stitt. Frank has 3 restaurants in Birmingham. I had eaten at 2 of them. I had eaten many meals at the Highland Grill and at Chez Fonfon, but I had never, ever eaten at Bottega. Well, 2 years ago at the Mike's Live Beyond Blue auction, I bid and won an amazing dinner for 6 at what was going to be at Highland Grill, but later became at Bottega. It was a 6 champagne dinner. Now, a great meal requires great guests. So we invited Bill and Mary Battle and Rusty and Rebecca Reed. I had the chance to meet both Frank and Partis Stitt. Didn't know this, but when Rusty got there, he had bartended there when he was in college, and he knew Frank very well and obviously knew Partis. We had 6 different champagnes and 6 amazing courses. So we started with Sicilian rice croquettes with a 24-month aged ham. Then we had shrimp spiedini with pimentos and pickled peppers. Then we had what was one of the best dishes I've ever had in my mouth, crab ravioli with butternut and mushrooms. Unfreaking believable. And then we had a seared duck breast with polenta and charred carrots. And finally, we had a persimmon ice cream with vanilla beans and pistachios. All of these had a different bottle of champagne. It was simply one of the best meals I've ever had. Great food, great drink, great company, great conversation in a great atmosphere. And it went to a great cause. There's nothing better than that. Frank Stitt, Bottega, the Mike Sly Foundation, all on the road with Rick. Sadly, we've come to the end of the road and we're putting the boat into dry dock. But don't fret. We'll be back. You know, Mr. Shakespeare said, parting is such sweet sorrow. Well, let's don't say goodbye. Let's just say till we meet again. One of my favorite miniseries was Downton Abbey. I loved Downton Abbey, and I was devastated when it finally ended. But guess what? They brought it back with first one movie and soon a second movie. So God and health willing, we'll return periodically with new special episodes of From the Bridge. Thanks to all my guest anglers, to my talented and lovely producer, Lindsay Collins, and to you, the listener. Thanks for 3 great years from the Bridge. Happy New Year to you and your family. May 2022 be the best year ever for all of us. This is the captain, signing off.